Love doesn't exist. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. And I'm not picking on love because I don't think friendship exists either. Welcome into the Bro 4 Squad podcast, episode 40. We are glad to have you guys. I'm your host, Jeff Hornacek. This is our review in movies for the year 2017. We made a bunch of predictions at the start of the year. Let's find out tonight whether we're geniuses or idiots. Spoiler alert, whether we were right or wrong, we are fucking idiots. But first, let's go around and meet the bros. Joining me tonight, we dive into the lab to meet the bro who might have more PhDs than the rest of us combined, but he also has more HOA violations than us as well. Brian Banner, the mad scientist. Welcome, Brian.
I just don't understand why they won't let me have a Bengal tiger in my front yard. What's illegal about that? They're not even a real, legal, binding, legal body, governing body. It's stupid.
And secondly, the other bro with us today, as always, our enforcer in the paint, Matt Geiger, who was once ejected from the stands at a WNBA basketball game for, quote, cheering sarcastically. Matt, how you doing?
I'm awesome, man. Whenever we first did this episode, I was drunk, and a lot can happen in a year, and I'm drunk again. So
I thought you meant my intro was so long you were drunk when this episode started. Like, Jeff, shut the fuck up. Let's get into the show. And that's what we're going to do right now. So we typically break our show down into three parts: a chest day, which is our most important topic, a protein shake, and then a question and answer segment. But today we're doing a little different because we're going to review our picks from our beginning of the year episode that we did. If you want to go back and review the tape, it's episode 7. We'll put the link in the description to see what we predicted at the start of the movie year. So the first category we made predictions on was our most anticipated movie, and we did preface this with this was not the movie that we thought was going to be the best movie of the year, but one that we were just very excited to see. So Banner, we'll go to you first. What was your most anticipated movie at the beginning of 2017 for the year?
Going into 2017, most anticipated movie was Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast.
Bonjour.
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 Bonjour. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. I was super excited for it. I was really excited to see what Emma Watson had to bring as far as her singing talent. You knew they weren't going to do a crazy spin on the new, or a crazy new story on the classic, but just visually what they were going to do and how Ewan McGregor and Ian McKellen were going to do. Not Ewan McGregor, he wasn't in this.
No, he wasn't it.
He wasn't it.
Yeah, it was the candles.
Anyway, how they were going to sing, I was just excited about it all the way around. Obviously, it's a classic. It's from my childhood with the cartoon. Very excited, and it did not disappoint.
Yep.
Check out a review on it.
Yep, it begins with bonjour.
Bonjour.
My most anticipated movie, this was how my Saturday morning started when I was 5 years old. Go Power Rangers. So that was my most anticipated movie of the year. Was it a great movie? No. But fuck you, it was still awesome. And
it was a really good movie, though.
It was really fun. I don't regret keeping it as my most anticipated. And if you want to fight about it, let me morph real quick, and I'll kick the shit out of you. Geiger, what was yours?
Yeah, like my marriage on this pod, I do stuff kind of prematurely sometimes, and I picked a movie that came out, I believe, January 14th. Whenever we did a pod on January 1st.
Yeah, you did not have to wait long.
No, I didn't. But it didn't disappoint. Mine was Split with James McAvoy, simply because I said this was going to be a Silence of the Lambs for our generation. I didn't know this was going to lead in to Unbreakable, so I was kind of wrong on that. Kind of like Banner whenever he said that it wasn't going to have a twist in it at all. However, I believe that McAvoy going into the next movie... You did say it.
I might have said that.
We have the tape.
Click below. We have the tape.
He
said it. And M. Night Shyamalan movie won't have a twist in it. I didn't know that they were going to go, because this could be one of my biggest surprise movies too, or sleeper movies, because I didn't know that fucking Bruce Willis is going to show up at the end. Fantastic theater experience, kicked off 2017 the right way. McAvoy, I still think should get an Oscar nom for this. I don't think the Oscars have came out quite yet, any of the nominations.
They also don't remember what happens in January.
I know, it's so early in the year,
problem.
It sucks, but he did fucking fantastic, and I can't wait to see him in Unbreakable 2 or Split 2 or whatever the hell they're going to call the next one. But I stand by my pick. That's a good one. Is it really?
Yeah, it's going to be called Glass.
Okay, cool. Glass.
All right. The second category that we did was we tried to predict our biggest sleeper movie. Basically a movie that we thought was flying under the radar but had potential to be pretty awesome or kind of be a surprise pick for the year. Geiger, we'll go with you first. You actually had two here, and both very different reasons for picking them.
Yeah, Pirates 5, and I know it's a big budget, big franchise. However, me and Banner have drank and talked about this, and it kills us to say that sometimes Pirates are almost like Transformers movies, where it's like they're there. They're usually not that good besides the first one. However, I saw a lot of stuff with Pirates 5, especially with Javier Bardem coming in. Depp, whenever he's called upon, has a good script, is still, I believe, an A-list actor, can do fantastic. And I wasn't wrong on that. One of my favorite movies of the year. King Arthur, however, still sleeping. I think my boy Charlie Hunnam, whenever you're hot on TV, man, your first movie has to hit. His didn't. There's no way it's going to get a sequel. It lost way too much money. I just don't see. I believe it's Warner Brothers funding the money for that, or maybe it's Lionsgate. I can't remember. But that one I missed on for sure. I actually didn't mind it too much. I watched it the other day because I was gone whenever you guys did the review. But yeah, it's still asleep. Pirates 5, though, I believe I hit on.
For sure. Mine was Murder on the Orient Express, which at the time I was pretty scared about picking it. It was basically 12 months away from release. We didn't even have a poster for it. I'd never seen the original. And was it an incredible movie? No, but it was a movie that 12 months out, no one was talking about. We didn't know anything about it. I just knew the cast was awesome. And I knew that Daisy Ridley, I was just waiting on a lot of unreturned text messages. So I figured it'd be a nice way to get her attention. Didn't work out, and it's how she flirts, but she sent me this restraining order thing in the mail. Banner, what was your biggest sleeper movie? And what was it like when you saw it?
Tell us everything. Don't leave anything
My
out.
sleeper movie was The Space Between Us. Now, do you guys got some time?
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
That's a tall boy, too. That's not.
Yeah, I missed.
Yeah, it needs to be a shot because I don't think you saw it, did you?
You didn't even fucking go to the theaters or rent your sleeper movie.
Okay, so here's what happened, guys.
Or legally download it, which we all do.
I was gonna go see it, and then literally the second weekend it was out, it wasn't in theaters anymore. It was that bad. So I just decided, like,
I guess that's fair, but also, yeah, you have to know that it's not a good pick when it's not in theaters the next week.
Yeah, when it's not in theaters the next week, it was bad.
Jeff,
All
it's
right.
the end of the second quarter. There's 30 seconds left. He's just taking a knee. Just let Banner go to the locker room. Like, come on.
The problem is he's in field goal range.
Well, he just wants to take a knee.
Yeah, I'm just going to take
All
a
right,
knee. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Well,
guys, it had the potential. It might get a sequel. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. We are now going to end the shitting on Banner segment because our last category we predict was our biggest flop. So that's a movie that either has a lot of money behind it or a lot of fan hype that we thought was going to fall flat on its face. And Banner, I'll let you go first because I think you were actually right on this one. Us on the pod, we're not huge fans of this movie. What was your biggest flop prediction?
Biggest flop was Baywatch, and I wholeheartedly think I picked this one correct. You have The Rock and a pretty much naked Zac Efron through the whole thing, and you don't do well. You did something extremely wrong if you don't at least make some money off of that from like middle-aged women. It was just a terrible movie, terribly written script, just wasn't good at all. And I think I was pretty right on that. Where do you guys go?
They had really hot chicks too for our age. I actually saw this opening weekend, and I was very surprised. And I was wrong about this. I told you on, I believe it was episode 7 or 8 when we did this, that I thought it was going to be good. I thought it'd be kind of like a Starsky and Hutch where they make fun of it, but I didn't really laugh at all. It was not very good at all, and it's surprising because The Rock can be funny. Zac Efron is funny in a lot of his movies, but it's
Neighbors, he's fucking hilarious in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping for like a 21 Jump Street type vibe where they kind of made fun of the original series, but I don't think that really worked out. If they were trying to make fun of it, it just didn't come across.
Yeah.
My biggest flop prediction was Jigsaw, which again was not an awful movie, but as a huge fan, Ronnie Cycler, legal counsel, and I, of the Saw franchise, after Saw 3D, which was a disappointment, but basically closed the loop on the Jigsaw legacy. I said, man, if they're going to reboot this franchise or bring it back, they must have an awesome idea for a movie. And then I started to read about Jigsaw, and I was like, I don't think this is it. And I was right. Really nothing inventive about the story, just another cash grab. And, of course, it fucking worked because they got my $15. Geiger, what was your biggest flop prediction for 2017?
Mine is Jumanji, and it kills me, man, because as the only WWE fan, on this podcast. The Rock is making the XFL look pretty fucking good in his last couple movie choices, which pains me to fucking say. But this one, Jack Black is played out. Kevin Hart, I get it, you're short, and if you're by someone big, you think that's funny. You have a hot chick in it, got that going for you. And The Rock is just swinging and missing in Hollywood. Don't make 4 shitty movies, make 1 good movie a year, and you'll do fine. I think I've been reading mixed reviews about it. Honestly, I haven't seen it. Me and Jeff had tickets, but instead we just did we did the Dunkirk movie review, or the movie commentary that you could check out. It had nothing for me at all. However, though, I didn't like the original. You guys did, so talk on that. But
you're like Russian for not liking the original.
Any family fucking fun thing you put during Christmas, you're going to make money. So it's kind of a cop-out, but I think it'll flop.
If you saw Jumanji and liked it, comment below and let us know how wrong we are. Because I think that
Geiger.
If you're Nick Jonas, don't fucking type that comment because it doesn't count. Okay? Because we saw you in the movie, so it's a little ridiculous. All right, guys, that does it for what we predicted before the year. Now let's go back and the classic Bro4 Squad 5 criteria that we review every movie on. We're going to give you our highlights in these categories for every movie that we saw in 2017. Before we dive in, these are the categories: the best acting and cast, the best story, the best scene, the most rewatchable movie, and the biggest impact on pop culture for a film in 2017. Let's start with acting and cast. Banner, we'll go into the lab to you first. What was the best cast in a movie that you saw in 2017?
I'm going to start this out by saying, Geiger, I'm sorry. I really don't want to do this, but I have to. Justice League. Really good cast. I mean, on paper, they look great. Did they act? Was this any of their best performances? No. Did they do what they set out to do? Yeah, I think they did. Wasn't the best acting, but it was a really good on paper. And I think as far as a whole ensemble of a team, not terrible. I picked that one.
I'm really interested to hear you say that because, while I love Affleck, and of course I love Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller really wasn't doing much for me, and it didn't have a standout villain in my mind. But I'm glad you liked it, I guess.
Banner did like that movie, weirdly.
I know.
I'm the DC guy, and I hated it.
I know, it was weird.
And I was on the middle, so we have kind of all 3 people.
Jeff, what's yours?
Mine is The Hitman's Bodyguard with Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson. The funniest movie I saw all year, although there was not a lot of great comedies this year, so that's not normally the compliment it is. But this is the best ensemble film I've seen maybe since Lethal Weapon. And if you love Ryan Reynolds and find him hilarious as shit, you'll love this movie. Ella D. Young, who plays Elektra in the Marvel Netflix shows, was in it. And Samuel Jackson is as hilarious as he's ever been. So if you haven't seen The Hitman's Bodyguard, check it out. It's a short movie, and you'll laugh your ass off throughout the whole thing. And their chemistry is insane. Geiger, what do you have?
So for acting and cast, usually on the Bro4 Squad, we look at something like Sin City or Ocean's 11 that has a deep cast, and they all act really well. Honestly, in 2017, we didn't have any movie like that, I feel. So I'm going to pick Logan, simply because you got Hugh Jackman, you got Patrick Stewart, and if you ever ask anybody, X-Men, who plays their role perfectly, it's those 2. However, in this movie, they went above and beyond their actual characters of any other movie and reinvented themselves. And honestly, it's probably their both best performances, I feel like. It's an Oscar movie. It should be up for an Oscar nod. Definitely for Patrick Stewart, Best Supporting Actor, and I think Hugh Jackman in Best Actor in a Motion Picture. It's fantastically shot, done. I know we're just talking about acting and cast, but Patrick Stewart, how he almost has Alzheimer's and kind of can't control his powers anymore, and how Logan controls it. And even, sorry, I'm blanking, but the blue guy in it was fucking awesome too. And I know he's a big actor too, Jeff.
The blue guy.
The dude that helps out Patrick Stewart. He's an X-Men.
He's a comedian. What the fuck is his name?
Oh, Stephen Merchant.
Yeah. He was fucking awesome too.
He was good.
And, I mean, it's hard to get kid actors right. I think Up and Down, the villain was fine. It's fantastically casted, fantastically acted, very well scripted. They delivered.
Well, you got 2 guys on the pod, and Banner and I, who legit cried at the end of that movie, so you don't have to tell us on the pod.
I literally could not pick Logan for any of my picks because I didn't want to cry on this episode.
All right, best story and plot, Geiger. We'll just throw it right back to you. What was the best story you saw in 2016?
This is easy for me. It's a Get Out. We like to have fun on the pod. We like to drink. We like, if you have a serious life, to get away from that and listen to us and get away from it. But I'm going to go serious for a second. In 2017, we have a big issue in this country with a lot of different backgrounds and stuff. And I think this movie sums it up. When our kids think about 2017, even if they study it in school and a bunch of stuff that happened, Get Out is the movie for 2017. That script is basically the definition of whites and blacks in America right now and how we don't see eye to eye. Perfectly said.
And it was an original story concocted by Jordan Peele, so that has to get extra marks, because these days everything's a fucking reboot or reimagining. Banner, best story you saw last year, or this year?
I'm going to go War for the Planet of the Apes. It was such a good story, a great end cap to a trilogy. It was extremely dark. Everybody, they explained all the characters great. It was a perfect culmination of this story that we've been following for the last 5-8 years, however long the trilogy's been out. It was just great. Again, fantastically directed, especially for having so much motion capture and CGI. That at times can be hard to act with, but everybody did a great job. The story was fantastic. It's not your Planet of the Apes that you remember from the 60s with Charlton Heston and everything in it. Growing up watching with your grandpa as a kid. It's a new idea of a truly two different species fighting for survival. And it was a fantastic story. I really enjoyed it. And like I said, I thought it was a great culmination of a trilogy.
Yeah, I know Geiger loved that as well. My story is actually a movie that came out much earlier in the year, but I just saw pretty recently. And it's The Belko Experiment. And a lot of people know about this movie. It was written by James Gunn. It starred Michael Rooker, who played Yondu, and actually his brother Sean Gunn, and Dr. Cox from Scrubs. And again, a super original idea. It was kind of fucking twisted, but it's about these employees who get locked in their office, and someone over the loudspeakers says that they have to kill one of their employees every hour for 12 hours. And then at the end of that, they can all leave alive. And there's a big twist in it, and I would encourage you all to watch it, because the mind of James Gunn is a crazy one, and he's very creative, and it was a really fun watch. And to me, one of the more original stories we got this year, kind of in the vein of Geiger's pick with Get Out. All right, this next one is best scene. This was a tough one. It's like choosing which of your kids you love the most, and it's usually the one who's good at sports. We'll go into Banner. Banner, what was your favorite scene of 2017?
It really pains me that I'm about to say this. Like, really pains me. It's the throne room scene in Last Jedi. Not when they kill Snoke, but when Rey and... Okay. Yeah, not when they do that, because that was fucking stupid. But when Rey and Kylo Ren are just fucking up the Royal Guard, and beautifully choreographed fight scene. The lighting was great with the red, and then them wearing dark and light, and they're doing the lightsabers. Just thought it was a really, really cool fight scene. Maybe I'm just a sucker for what I've seen recently, and maybe I just really want there to be something good in that movie, and that's all I can find. But going back, I think that was one of my favorite scenes. There's a couple others. Obviously, Logan had some. Ragnarok had some. Get Out had some really good scenes, but I think I had to go with the throne room scene post Snoke being dead in Last Jedi.
That was the one scene in the movie where I wanted to get up and, for not anger-related reasons, but start fighting the person next to me. My favorite scene was in John Wick 2, which is, I still think, one of the best action movies of the last 3 or 4 years. It was the scene where Keanu Reeves and Common kill everyone in the PATH station in New Jersey, just trying to kill each other. As somebody who used to take that train every day, and as someone who is kind of sick of watching Common just kind of parade around like he's the toughest guy on earth.
In general.
Yeah, I was glad to see him and John Wick beat the shit out of each other with silencers. And it was just John Wick 2 had some incredible fight choreography, and that was at the top of the list for me. Geiger, best scene this past year.
So Banner loves scores. I love music videos. Throw it in with, I believe, one of the best movies this year and my favorite band ever. You got the Led Zeppelin scene from Thor Ragnarok in the final. You could do either or. It was in the trailer. It was in the first scene, but I'm going to go the third act. I just fucking dug it, man. Every time I hear Immigration Song, I think of Hemsworth with his shaved head, and when that comes on at the gym, I'm just like, let's fucking go. Let's move some weights. I thought it was very well done. It fit that movie perfectly. Instead of doing a score where, let's bring it seriously and get John Williams in here or someone like that, let's keep this poppy. Let's keep it fun. Let's play some Led Zeppelin, and let's have Thor kick some ass. That was my favorite scene. I had so much fun watching that movie, and that scene just kind of cultivated my movie theater experience.
I want to give an honorable mention to the No Man's Land scene in Wonder Woman, which was one of the more exciting.
Logan.
There's a lot of great scenes out there, guys. We're going to leave some out. We're going to leave some out, and Banner's going to start crying again. We don't want a repeat of.
We like to have fun. I don't want to cry either, man. Like, that was a touchy. It was a great scene. It's not one that I want to rewatch a million times, though, for sure.
Speaking of rewatching a million times, Geiger, what was the most rewatchable movie you saw?
This hasn't been touched on yet, and I feel that I like this movie. I think you guys liked it, but I really love this movie, and Spider-Man Homecoming. I think, besides maybe the first one, just because of my theater experience, and I went in 7th grade, I remember going to the pool all fucking day. I think it's the greatest Spider-Man movie I've ever seen. Tom Holland is Spider-Man. Michael Keaton was perfect. Probably the best Spider-Man villain I think we've ever got. And
that's MCU villain by hand easily.
Yeah, best MCU villain probably. I mean, maybe Loki or something. But best Spider-Man villain we ever got. That's even over William Dafoe. It was fantastically written. I thought, when Downey Jr., I'm like, man, is he going to overshadow this? I think we had just enough of him. Not too much, not, too little. And it sets up a lot of other stuff that, you kind of scratch your head. You got Scorpio at the end. Keaton's still alive, and it had kind of a twist to it that I didn't see when Keaton was actually the father of Peter Parker's love interest. So, love the movie. It was poppy. It was fun. It was a great summer movie to come out in July. Jeff?
Agreed, and you hit the nail on the head with pretty much everything Keaton did as someone who worships the ground he walks on, Beetlejuice, the other guys, and, of course, a small independent film called Batman. The most rewatchable movie for me, we've said it before, but it has to be said. Thor Ragnarok. I saw it 3 times in theaters. It's incredible. It's funny. The action's great. Hemsworth gives his best performance as Thor. But I got to bring a shout out back to my boys, the Power Rangers. It's another movie I saw in theaters twice. And if the rest of the world out there fucking got it and went to go see it more, we wouldn't have to worry about the potential sequel being in jeopardy. So everyone, especially China, this is not the first time we've beefed. Get out to the theater more, bro. All right, before I start World War III, Banner, your most rewatchable movie.
Well, guys, we all know that I've been really drunk in 2017. Like
when?
Like really drunk. Like not right now, but just like in general.
Oh.
And we all know what my drunk movie is. Well, there's a close runner-up now, and that's Pirates 5.
Yep.
I loved this movie.
What is your drunk movie?
Pirates 1.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
I love this movie. I went and saw this one in theaters 2 or 3 times. I don't really remember. I drank a lot of rum, and it's just so much fun. It takes us back to our roots of what Jack Sparrow is and what Pirates really was meant to be after that first movie. Thinking the sequels, they kind of got away, and they really got back to it. And then added an extra layer to this with the kids and everything. It's so much fun to go back and watch. So much fun to just be on the high seas again. I will watch this movie probably 2 to 8 times a year.
It's a gigantic gap in the amount of times you'll watch it. But it was a pod favorite.
Great movie. I loved it. Check out our movie commentary on it, too. Apparently everyone else has. It's our biggest movie commentary ever.
All right, the last one, and appropriately, maybe the biggest one of the year, the biggest impact on pop culture of any film you saw. I know we're repeating some movies here, but the good movies have to get said. I'll go first. Mine was Logan, just because, especially now with the Fox and Disney deal, I truly believe that it is the last time we see Hugh Jackman don the claws as Logan and Wolverine. And, of course, Patrick Stewart and their swan song together. It was incredible. Grown men on this pod cried. I'm not afraid to admit it.
Where are the grown men?
They're showing up a little bit later if you guys hang out afterwards. But to me, it was just a movie where I left the theater thinking, like, wow, that's how you fucking end a run as a character over almost 20 years. So Logan gets it for me. Geiger, how about you?
Mine's The Last Jedi. And I don't know if it's a good or bad impact on pop culture. I'm not going to shit on this movie. I already did that in our review, which you can check out. But it definitely drew a line in the sand because I have talked to some people that did really like this film. And there's some people, there's 3 of them on this podcast right now, that did not like it. But apparently Disney really liked what Rian Johnson did. They're giving him his own trilogy. So this is a big turn for Star Wars. If this is where Star Wars is going, where the Skywalkers aren't king shit no more, not everybody is related to somebody, or there's going to be a big twist, it's going to, the fans like us that really we like the prequels, we love the originals, of course, they might lose some, but they might gain some others, and it's really interesting to see. For me, I think it's crashing and burning, but for other people, they think it's going to be interesting to see where they go with this. And are they going to DCU this and be like, dude, there's too much controversy on this, we're fucking stopping it, we're going to redo fucking everything, but it's still all going to connect, it's going to be a jumbled up mess? Or are they going to put their feet firmly in the sand and be like, no, Rian Johnson made a great movie, we feel, we're going to go on with J.J. Abrams, and Rian Johnson's going to do the next trilogy? That's a huge impact on a movie that I felt was going to end probably the greatest movie year ever, and I left very disappointed. So we'll see where that goes. But that's a huge impact on pop culture for me.
Banner, take us home, you will.
I'm actually going to go flip side of the coin here, and I'm going to go with the movie that started our year off, and that's Split. You have a movie that is 100% an independent movie. If you take out literally the last 30 seconds of that movie, it's its own movie, and it is a great movie. But then you add Bruce Willis coming back, and you go, holy shit, this is connected to a movie that happened, 10, 15 years earlier? In
2001, I believe.
2001? Okay. Yeah. So 16 years earlier. And then it's going to get another one. So this is the middle one. And it's about superheroes. So it's in a genre that people are love it or hate it. It is a true movie genre now. It is superhero movies that are not based on source material in comics or anything like that. Truly 100% original thought. And they are growing into a franchise, connected universe, if you will, whatever you want to call it. I think that's huge. I think that we're going to start seeing a lot more movies like this because of the success that Unbreakable had in the early 2000s and what Split has had now. So I think that's a huge impact, and it shows that some directors can hit on 3 or 4 movies, then be gone for 15 years, and come back and go, holy shit, they still got it in M. Night Shyamalan.
I'm not sure Shyamalan's like the boyfriend who cheated on us, but he actually might have changed. I'm glad we took him back. Our parents will never fucking let him come over for dinner again, but
it's fine. We don't love them anyway.
He worked. All right, guys, that has been the year of movies in 2017, and we have been the Bro Force Squad. For the mad scientist Brian Banner and the enforcer in the paint Matt Geiger, I'm the mayor Jeff Hornacek. We appreciate you guys checking us out. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Bro4Squad. Subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube, Bro4Squad, 3 words. If you could leave us a 5-star iTunes review, we'd appreciate it, and we will read it on our show. And as always, check out everything we're doing and our squad blog and the Bro4Squad Hall of Fame on our website, Bro4Squad.com. Thank you, guys, and we will see you in 2018.
Guys, I still have 3 days to see the space between us, so get off my nuts.
Yeah, end your year on a low note.